Right, welcome back to the channel. It's warm under here today. I've been cracking on this morning. I've not been doing any filming, but I'm gonna pick it up a little bit now. But I've leveled everything off. I've got a couple of plumb lines, as you can see, drop down just to make sure that we're square. And I've started filling in this piece. So what the aim was to try and pick up the bonnet mounting point. So I've got a piece going from the mx5 running round and picking up the Escort. I'm just going to put a little triangular piece in there, spot welded on with a fold, and spot weld it to there, and then I'll just carry that angle back to there and box in that section. I'm only going to do it up to the top there because I may end up taking that piece out, which is why I've spot welded the bracket for the hinge from the back here, so I can unpick the other side when I take the scuttle panel off. So I'll just run it up to that. I'm probably not even going to weld the top. I'll probably weld that bit, but not the top bit, because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that yet. But I want to get some strength from here, and what I'll do is, once that bit's in there, I'll overlap from this front one, put a couple of spot welds in, and then go all the way to that and just go down maybe across there. This doesn't hit the wing, so we're okay with that. Then what I need to do is cut a little piece from there and just angle it up to the A post there, and then I need to make a piece from this all the way down to the bottom, and then the same on the other side, and then that's that front bit done, bar the scuttle panel and this little section here. I'll then do the same on the other side. I've not tied the back in yet, but the ratchet strap's holding that absolutely fine, so I'm not concerned with that. I don't know whether to start from the front and work my way back, so whether to start getting the floor in and the back will take care of itself as I get there, because I've not decided yet how I'm gonna mount the back up. I don't want to drop the subframe. Still at the VIN plate to tie in somewhere as well. Yeah, I don't want to drop the subframe on it because I'm using that for the levels. So whether it's, as I said, I think yesterday, or in the last video anyway, tie something in from one side to the other. I didn't get much done in the end yesterday. I only knocked up a plate. I'll show you what I made. My wife ordered a wardrobe for my lad, so I ended up putting that up. So I got that in and welded. I've just thrown a bit of direct to rust paint on that, just to give it a bit of protection on the inside. I was going to weld a section in there, but I'm actually not going to bother because I can wax oil in through that gap. I've then made this piece, which has got a couple of different folds in it and a dead fly on it. So that'll sit in there, which will join me from the original mx5 inner wing to the bulkhead and hinge mounting plate. So what I'll do is I'll spot weld it in there and stitch it so that we can still get wax oil in and stuff. I'm going to leave this bit open I'll stitch it across there, down here and down into the corner, but we'll leave that open in case it ever gets any water in there. It'll allow the water to drip out. It's a really solid piece of metal as well. So that's going to get done now. Then after that's done, we've got to make up this side. But first, I need to put a piece from there. I have managed to square it off as best I could, and that's just going to go up to here. And then from the other side, I'll try and box that in a bit. And then what I'm going to do is get a full piece all the way across. And I'll just drill a hole through it to accept this sort of vent out, or well, water trap, whatever you would call it. I've also tried to dish it down a bit more than it was originally so that the water does flow a little bit better. That's the first bit done. I was going to fill in the bits around the spot welds, but to be honest with you, it's going to be under the wing, and I'm probably going to Gravitex it anyway, so welded all the way around. When the panel's off at the front, I'll probably touch in that section, but you can see it's solid. So I'll just weld that from the back. That lip there, I wanted to keep across because I'm going to have to mount a wing mount off here. So it'll probably come over here, and I may sort of angle that in because it doesn't start till around about there. So now what I'm going to do, as you saw, I didn't end up stitching it, I've seam welded it all the way around just to make sure that we've got a load of strength in the front. Done it there, and then it's just spot welded at the front. Any water that does get in will come out of there, and I can also wax oil into that gap potentially, and I can wax oil into that gap there. This bit I'm probably going to knock that flush for when I make the panel here. I think I need to make a decision on that. I'm going to have to put some sort of lip round there as well, so that I've got somewhere to join onto. That needs to angle off as well, but the wing caught this, which is why that had to get cut back. But we're definitely making progress on this. I just need to make a panel. It'll probably be spot welded down there, maybe spot weld it onto this. I mean, I could chop that corner off, I might do actually, to make it easier. I might just chop that, that's just a weld underneath, I might chop that corner off and just seam weld it and linish it back so that I can put just a flat piece on. I think that's probably going to be the best bet. Just need to make that go up there now. So I decided to chop that bit off in the end so that I can make one panel that comes down. Now I'm still deliberating over how to do this because I can't take that any further into the car, well, into the tyre well, because obviously I don't want to clip the tyre when it's lowered. So I don't know whether to try and make it in two pieces, where I make the bottom half and fold it round so that it pieces in round there, or whether to just try and have a weld a piece onto the inside to give me a lip to spot weld onto, and then transition it to the outside, which I think is probably going to be the easiest. So if I put like a, or even just seam weld it all the way around maybe. Or I could fold a piece and spot weld, that would be stronger, wouldn't it? If I folded a piece and bent it round the shape and then spot welded onto that. Might give that a go. And at some point it'll have to, if I bring it up a little bit further up here, the transition can go across. So I'm gonna have to put a bit of an offset in the top bit anyway. Let me have a play around with that. I can use my shrink and stretcher. Just taking a quick break from doing the car. A little find's come up on Marketplace. I think it's called a slip roller for rolling sheet steel. 50 quid, so normally about 100, 110 quid new. And it looks new. I think it's someone that's found a returns pallet, something like that. So about 20 minutes away, I'm gonna go and pick that up. I'll show you what it is when I get it. So that's where we're going, off towards the alfresco garage's neck of the woods. Not quite as far, I don't think, but over that way. Alright, so this is what I've just picked up. A little metal roller. I think it was probably returned because one of the tabs has broken off the top there, but we'll put some handles on these anyway. I'll weld a little T-handle on, or maybe even something like that on. So hopefully it'll come in useful. It'll do something anyway, won't it? Right, I've just had a delivery there from, let me just clean the camera, or the phone rather. Just had a delivery then from Amazon. Some of you may have noticed when I did this, I caught the wiring with the grinder. You can get it to focus, which obviously I can't. Anyway, I got some liquid tape. Let me turn this off and on again. Hopefully that'll work. Yeah, so I got some liquid electrical tape, which should cure on there. So I'm gonna give it a quick paint now. It can take up to 24 hours to go off, you see. Because what I didn't want to do is start cutting and heat shrinking. Whereas this does exactly the same job and gives it a nice isolated seal. So I'll blow a load of this on. And that'll be waterproof, insulated and all sorted. Like that. Need a little bit more. And what I'll do is I'll see if it'll open up and we'll double check it. In fact, let's lather a load on. So that now has insulated the wires that we needed to. And this is what I've used. 12 quid it was. But it's better than trying to put tape on it, and better than splitting it, heat shrinking it and resoldering it as well, because I didn't touch the wire, it was only the insulation. Alright, so hopefully you've just seen, I've got the general shape. Once I start tacking this in, I am going to have to just knock that area in, or I might just try and shrink it just to bring it in a little bit before it goes out to the crease. It's now pretty flush all the way down, so I can get a load of spot welds in there. It's perfect down there. I'm going to spot weld this in the end, so if ever I need to do anything with it, it won't be too bad. I'm now going to try and use the roller and roll that edge in. Never done it before, so I don't know how it's going to go, but I can't see it being too bad. We need to go from there like that. So we're going to run it through a few times. Not going quite as I'd hoped, so I've actually got the curve going down there absolutely fine, and it meets up at the bottom perfectly, but I need it to pinch in, so I don't know if I'll be able to. Do you know what? It might actually just push in. Yeah, I think it'll push in. If I hold that there and push it, it will shrink in, I think. So I think we're on there. What I'll do is I'll just put a couple of little beads just straight down there. Just to get rid of any tinniness in that. I can stop them at that point though, and we'll do them coming outwards obviously because of all the bits in, and I need to drill around the inside and pick up where that drain needs to be. In fact, we probably won't need to bead that. I'll decide in a minute. Not happy. My drill bit was burnt out, so I've not been able to drill through, and I need to straighten off the metal a little bit. On a positive side though, I used the sandbag and hammer formed the bottom section there, and used the English wheel to straighten it all out, and I'll show you how it fits. So it sits in just nice round there, so I'm happy with that. I'll just have to put a filler piece at the bottom. I'm actually deliberating over whether to put a lip on the end or whether to butt weld it, so I think I might put a lip round so I can just spot weld it. Right, so bar cutting that circle out, I'm gonna have to pick a new drill bit for. Got all my spot weld holes done. The curve round there is nice. I've managed to offset it. Obviously I need a bead, and then I need to cut that off there just to keep it looking level. That pushes in, so it'll go over there. The only thing I'll have to do is cap off there. What I'll probably have to do is just make a cut in it somewhere. But I'm going to try the wing on and see if the wing will actually fit over. But the shaping and everything seems okay, especially once it's got some cover on it. Quite nice curve going around. So I've got a few different transitions. So I've got an offset there, go across, an offset there, and then bends all the way around and meets up with this, which is a very curved shape. And I think the shape it goes is well. You can't see any of the hammer marks. The English wheel's got all them out, and it finishes off nicely. I'm just hoping that, in fact, I can chop a bit out the bottom of the side skirt to suit that anyway, if necessary. But the bottom sort of will do that once it's on the lift. Right, so there's the first A-post, mostly in place. I'm not going to finish it off. I've got it down the pillar. I've still got to drill that hole out, and I'm going to have to seam weld the bottom there. Possibly even extend it or do a bit of manipulation. Still need to fill in a couple of these spot welds. My welder wasn't set up properly. Welded it all the way around, and I've left this bottom bit because I'd rather get the wheel off, but I don't want to do that yet until I've got some flooring in. So next job, I think, is going to be starting to rebuild the other side to a similar state to this. But we've got a connection now between this corner is locked into the car now properly, obviously bar the bottom, which I can't do yet, but we'll get a floor section in. That'll be one complete piece from front right the way to the back as well, which I think is going to make a massive difference. So I've almost done the inside piece of the passenger side. Now on this side I did it slightly differently. I made the triangular bit in one piece, whereas I didn't even do it on the other side. So on this one I'm just going to drill a big hole through there so I can wax oil on the inside. I don't think anything will ever be able to get in there anyway. I also cut that a little bit further back so I could shape it easier, and then the hinge again is spot welded through from the back. So if I do, I am going to seam weld around there, but if I ever do want to take that panel out, it is feasible and it'll leave the hinge panel in place, though I don't think I ever will. I've cleaned all the metal behind it. I'm going to seam weld that. It'll just be one continuous piece. I do need to put a little bit of weld in there because I have fractured it slightly, so I'll just dot it in from the back on a bit of low power, and I just need to put a little bit of weld down there. but all of that will be covered by a piece that will mirror that one. So it shouldn't be too bad. But even just from boxing that section in, the hinge plate is a lot stronger now. And hopefully in the right place. I do need a bonnet though. If anyone's got a Mark IV Escort bonnet, get in touch. Just leave a comment and I'll get in touch with you, because to line up the scuttle panel, sorry, the slam panel and the wings, I need the bonnet, and I want to do that before I take the slam panel off. Sorry, the scuttle panel off. So I do need a bonnet.